This is Ginny Brant with Unleash Your God-Given Healing. Today we're going to look at 5 ways we are living to eat rather than eating to live. Yes, our prosperity has some downsides. And my video on 5 downsides to prosperity will open your eyes and is referenced in the show notes below. Today we'll look at one of those downsides in more detail. 5 ways we are living to eat rather than eating to live. This phrase was first coined by popular medical doctor and nutritionist Dr. Joel Fuhrman. The prophet Daniel called it eating the king's food. And I spent much of my life living to eat the king's food. I was gorging on all the wrong foods. I didn't get the nickname, the junk food queen, for no reason. And unfortunately, it was an appropriate title. So let's look at 5 ways we are living to eat rather than eating to live. Number 1, we eat ultra-processed foods rather than God's foods. It took this junk food queen nearly 50 years to realize that our bodies were not created to eat processed foods. What are processed foods? They are the foods that have been changed for our convenience, such as white rice and white flour, where the outer coating with fiber has been removed. There are also foods where many chemicals and additives have been added, things our bodies don't need. Now, unprocessed or minimally processed foods, like the cutting of fruits, removal of seeds, and packaging for storage, are fine. But when the outer layer, which provides most of the nutrients and that all-important fiber, are removed, then we've got a problem. That removed fiber is much needed by our gut lining, which is where 70 to 80% of our immune system cells are located. And our body does not need, as I said, all those additives and chemicals. Number 2, we eat foods with high calories but low nutrients. Ouch. This was my everyday life for so many years. And as I said, it's what crowned me the junk food queen. What was I thinking? I couldn't wait to get to Young Life prayer breakfast on Friday morning before high school, where donuts dripping with sugar, fillings, and chocolate were calling my name. Oh, I loved it all. Ice cream, candy bars, licorice candies, cheesecake, sundaes, cakes, pies, milkshakes, you know, all of it. Why, heaven to me was the promised land filled with all these delights and me feasting on them throughout the day. Well, my heaven on earth came to an abrupt stop when a Duke University medical doctor told me I had the worst case of severe reactive hypoglycemia he'd ever seen. He even told me if I didn't change and turn things around, I may not be able to have children in the future. He had my attention. Giving up my heaven on earth was the hardest thing I've ever done. But when my body returned to vibrant health, oh, it was so worth it. I was mainly eating foods that offered no nutrients or benefits to my health, only high calories and health issues. I was just beginning to learn my lessons in health and good nutrition from the school of hard knocks. Number 3, we tend to eat from an inverted food pyramid. In other words, we are eating the opposite of what we should be eating. With the rise of heart disease, cancer, and brain diseases, and over 100 autoimmune diseases in our culture today, the FDA has changed the food pyramid. They are now recommending that half of our plate be from vegetables and some fruit. A little less than 1/4 be from healthy, varied protein sources, and a little more than 1/4 be from whole grains, and a small amount of healthy fats. This My Plate idea definitely contributes to better health for all who follow it. Unfortunately, most Americans are not following the FDA's advice. The average American eats 2, maybe 3 fruits and vegetables each day, including French fries, which they think is a healthy vegetable. It is not. However, I then found Dr. Joel Fuhrman's Nutritarian Food Pyramid. This is my favorite way of informing people what our diet should look like. This diet is in line with what we read in the Bible as to what God provided for us to eat. It is high in nutrients and lower in calories while providing much needed healthy fiber and a variety of nutrients coming mainly from plants. Number 4, we tend to eat from early morning to late at night. Now, quite honestly, when I was diagnosed with hypoglycemia at Duke University, the nutritionist at Duke University taught me how to eat 6 meals a day, 3 large, 3 small, to balance my blood sugar. Each contained protein. So I was eating all day, from early in the morning to right before bedtime. And it did help to cure my low blood sugar issues. But many years later, when I switched over to 2 to 3 meals a day based on a nutritarian diet and cut the junk and high sugary foods out, my body thrived even more and my blood sugar remained under control. I still revert back to these 3 meals and 3 protein snacks a day when my blood sugar gets out of balance. But I stop when my blood sugar is balanced. Why? This eating all day, from morning till night, keeps my body digesting all the time, rather than using some of my body's energy to heal. When I eat too close to bedtime, within 3 hours, they say, my body spends its time digesting rather than engaging in deep and restorative sleep. Even as someone who is pre-genetically disposed towards low blood sugar, I'm even able to do intermittent fasting several days each week, which allows my body to extend its own autophagy, which is the recycling and remaking of damaged cells, which is a key for a cancer survivor or someone just preventing. And number 5, we tend to allow our food addictions to control us. I would never allow this to happen in my life, but yes, I did. My junk food addiction kept my blood sugar on a roller coaster ride that left my body not working the way God intended. I was a mess. Yes, I was addicted to many of the wrong foods. I see that clearly today. It took years for me to gradually remove these addictions in my life and return to vibrant health. I was blind for many years, hard-headed and stubborn when it came to what I ate. I could have lived in my heaven on earth sugar high forever, but my body simply couldn't handle it. Many times, we Americans don't realize that food can be very addictive. Science proves that it is. I had to get off that roller coaster sugar ride. Like Daniel, I had to stop eating the king's food and begin eating the food that God made for me to eat, the food that complements my DNA and nourishes and heals my body. Genesis 1:29 talks about the foods that God made for Adam and Eve to eat. They were seed-bearing fruits, vegetables, herbs, spices, nuts, seeds, legumes, beans, and whole grains. Many call them today the Garden of Eden diet or the Daniel diet. I've learned that the more I eat from these foods, the healthier I am. These foods are loaded with antioxidants, phytochemicals, healthy fats and protein, low carbs, vitamins and minerals to prevent disease, and much needed fiber to nourish my all-important gut. God called these foods good, and He was right. God's always right. Dr. Joel Fuhrman recently wrote a book called Eat to Live. What an interesting title. Since I was the average American who broke all the rules but changed, the spotlight is now on you. Are you living to eat, or are you eating to live? And this is a message from someone who is now trying to eat to live so I can serve God. I'm doing it for Him. I hope you will subscribe to my YouTube channel, like this video, and share it. Until next time, here's to your health and learning how to eat to live rather than living to eat. And God bless.